Well, hello and welcome to PM Personality Profile. My name is Nana Ansakwa IV. You know it, Chief of the very little Republic of Akwemu, Edumasa. Now listen to this. From the bleakest of beginnings to a celebrated life at the apex of the banking industry in West Africa. Chosen from darkness. Now, if the children are not around the television, I want you to call them now to come and sit around the television. This is that interview that's going to stop the young man from traversing across the Sahara Desert and taking chances across the Mediterranean to go and get enslaved in Europe somewhere. This is the interview that's going to empower that young lady to say, nope, I'm not going to sleep with you for grades, or I'm not going to sleep with you for opportunity in life. This is that interview that's going to let your children know that, you know what, life is about problems, and being alive is solving problems. And that if you don't have any problems, you might as well be dead. You will be amazed, you will be inspired, you will have goosebumps. It's unfortunate I only have an hour, so I cannot celebrate this woman's maybe career achievement. I'll touch on it. I'm just going to do lifetime achievement, because multimedia won't even give me the time slot. Otherwise, I would have done 3 hours here. So have an hour and half about good career achievement. It's amazing, it's inspiring, and I've always said that until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And here we are with our own historian telling a beautiful African story. Don't go away. Talking to Abiola Bewa. You know it. When I come back, an inspiring story begins. Don't go. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for staying. And Abiola, thank you so much, because I know your schedule is tight. But you granted us this wonderful interview. And let me say that God bless you for writing the book, Chosen from Darkness. All too often, you know, there are so many successful people who shy away from sharing their story. So I'm proud of you, and thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
But from the bleakest of beginning to a celebrated life at the apex of the banking industry in West Africa, how bleak was the beginning? Because, you know, we look at you and we assume that, your daddy might be a big-time farmer, big-time industrialist, giving daughter an opportunity to become a good banker. How bleak was it, or how wrong would I be?
How I wished. Oh, how I wished. My background is such that my dad was a organizer. And my mom, I met my mom.
As in repairing type organizer?
Yes, repairing type. Those who, not even the mechanized one, the automated one that we have now.
The hammer and chisel.
The hammer and chisel, the one that you step on the thing and then you push it. So I know how to do that very well. So my mom was a petty food seller. Those who carry food in those basins and carry it on their heads to go and sell. Wow. So that is my remembrance when I started life with them. So that's my beginning. And I happen to come from a community where the greatest education you can have is Islamic, is the Arabic, the Quran. And formal education was not encouraged, not at all, not at all in the least. And so I wasn't privileged to have come from rich background.
Wow.
Yes, please.
Big family?
Yes, because we believed in polygamous settings. My dad had, my mom was the first wife, but along the line, my dad married 3 other women. So he had 4 wives. And the polygamous one was not that maybe my mom and her kids were in one house. It was all the 4 women
in one dwelling.
Minimum of 2 under the same roof. So it was a bit chaotic, but we survived.
Well, and your mom was the first?
My mom was the first.
And you are the first?
And I'm the first.
How much pressure is that if I may
double
ask.
pressure or triple pressure, because being the firstborn, I had to assume or take up the leadership role quite young. Yes, I had to assume that role because within the local settings, the firstborn assumes the responsibility of the dad. If I were a man, if my daddy passes or had passed, I would have had to marry my stepmom. That's the understanding then. So being a lady, I assumed that role as young as within my teens, by 13, 14, I had taken up that leadership role. So it was a big responsibility for both the extended family and my immediate mother.
Being such a traditional setup, I mean, you being a girl, I mean, they did not, but she's a girl and she can't.
Yes, they would have loved to find out that because for a girl child, you marry. So the boy who will still bear your name is actually the hero in the family. I must say that my dad liked me and decided to just put that responsibility on me. But there were few friends I know who would say, but this is a girl child who is going to get married very soon. So why do you give such responsibility? But he stuck to his belief. It was a bit abnormal, I must say. Because for a girl child, you must go and marry by age of 13, 14. By 16 years, you are gone. So my brother, but the difference between my brother and I think the age gap was about 4.
Okay.
So that's sort of like, it was given by default that I had to assume that role until I leave home. But because education came in and I wasn't getting married at the age of 16, then there was no need for me to then transfer power. So I held on to it. So I guess that education supported or helped me to retain that position.
I must say your dad must have done really well to, keep you in education and keep you out of marriage. Was there no pressure? Because everybody else, you're saying everybody else in the community, 13, 14, by 16 is cut off. And there are you, still in school doing what?
Seriously, my dad did well. And that's why my dad is my hero.
Wow.
I love my dad to bits. Because it's not just he telling me. I saw it and I heard it. And they sometimes leave him and come to me. The education in that community is only a boy child that goes to school. And even to school is to a minimum that will help you to trade. Most of them were doing money changing at the border. I don't know if you've traveled across the Veta region. You will see a lot of young men trying to change safer to CDs. Few were tailors. Few become teachers of the Islamic book, cleric, what we call the alphas. A few of them were traders. So you don't need education, really. Left alone a girl child that is supposed to be married and taken care of by the male child. So it was totally nonsense to everybody. So they mounted serious pressure on him. Sometimes even to my face, I know. So, but he was always like, well, I don't want Abiola to grow up and say, I took her out of school. But he was hoping and willing that I should be the one saying, I'm tired. Or no, I now want to do business. So as they were mounting pressure on him, he wanted my consent first.
Whether you want to leave school.
I wanted to leave school. So sometimes he would ask me, Abby, you still want to go? I said, yes, I want to go. And he thought that, no, he should rather back me. So for that reason alone, I celebrate him every day.
Wow. So you did a Makaranta?
Yes, I did Makaranta.
And then after you went to formal school?
Yes, I did Makaranta at an early age.
Okay.
By the time I was...
So you've read the Quran?
I finished the Quran.
Wow.
I can recite the Quran in my head. I was the first girl in that community to finish Al-Quran.
Wow.
And I was young among the boys, and so I was their role model. And so losing that role model to formal education was just too much. So they more or less...
that's double pressure.
Oh, yeah. the community fought my daddy. He couldn't go out. He couldn't go for functions because when he goes there, they won't even accept it. They were not ready to accept his greetings. So he started feeling very...
Because formal education is Christianity,
it's
Western
Christianity,
culture,
and it will take you out, and then you become civilized, and you start challenging beliefs, and it was not heard of. It was absurd to them. So my dad used to tell me, I can't go for this firstborn girl. Married. When your mom has a business, your dad can just afford to give you some 100,000 sefa, and then and besides that, there were a lot of males, and if you are not lucky, your daddy's friends that can easily take care of you. It's the male child that should go have some formal, but you seem to be going forever. So my dad couldn't even go for function. I mean, social gatherings. No, he wouldn't go. Because when he gets there, he said, I greet your alphas. They didn't mind me. They didn't respond to my greetings. So he suffered a lot of social neglect. I mean, people were just neglecting him. I mean, they avoided him for my sake.
So primary school, your other cousins were going to primary school.
Yes.
Mom thought, well, if you're going to be in a house and misbehave, you might as well follow them.
Yes, just follow them so that she can have peace with with the smaller ones. So let the house be peaceful. So if the boys are going, there were 5 boys. Let's
follow them.
This girl go with them. So I was following them. I still remember my first dress at school. So I was following the boys. But one of the boys was a year older than me and had started school a year earlier. But because he was going to go into a new school, we both started primary 1 in Aprau RC, primary school there. So he became like, okay, who's going to pass who? So I was just going to school to just match Maruf, for them to see that I can beat Maruf. That's all. It wasn't because I wanted to become a banker or no.
Maruf was the benchmark.
Maruf was I must beat Maruf. Once I beat Maruf, I'm done.
But before I continue, I need to hear about Mr. Johnson, because I'm in love with Mr. Johnson already. Within the community, there was Mr. Johnson that was the most learned.
Yes. The community, remember I said, school was not part of it. And even for a boy child, it was just the basic. You can count money, you can scribble something down. What do you need education for? So, but there was a gentleman by name Mr. Johnson, tall, handsome looking, that was working with a company. And he used to dress up in brown khaki trousers and very smart khaki shirts, short sleeve, and wear his canvas on it. And he was the smartest looking gentleman in our community. And all the women will wake up in the morning and they will be like, good morning, Mr. Johnson.
As he's walking past
as he's walking past the door. And then my mom will come and say, Abi, come, come. See, Mr. Johnson, see how smart that man is? I said, yes. Yeah. If you go to school, your shoe will do ka. So you must go to school so that your shoe can sound. You see how Mr. Johnson is? And she did that religiously every morning. So I learned to wake up 7 o'clock, waiting for Mr.
Johnson's clacking sound.
And he was he was the most learned. When you get your letters from Nigeria or from anywhere, you have to go to Mr. Johnson for Mr. Johnson to read it to you or write for you. And so that's the community that we grew up in. You know, it was years later after I entered Achimota School, I think Form 4, that I went for a form. My mom sent me to pick a form. And I went to the company and I was seated at the reception. And here was my role model, being sent up and down. But then, education, Form 4, you are a bit enlightened. So that's when I realized that, my role model was a messenger. So, of course, I quite understand the people in the area that, well, he was a Muslim, why not? But then, at that moment...
Because at that moment, you had even passed him.
No, I've passed that too. He was no longer my role model, of course. So, I just laughed in my head and I was like, well, how far he's brought us.
You see, I'm sure he has inspired other people.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Johnson and his talking shoes.
No, his talking shoes. See how...
Should have a film about Mr. Johnson.
I don't even know where he is, that's the truth.
So you finished primary school.
Yes.
So did you do common trans in Aplao?
No. We were in the primary school. You know, Aplao is more, they were teaching Ewe.
Okay.
So we did, Ewe was good. We did very well in Ewe, but we were not too good in English. The English wasn't coming because they don't teach, I mean, how many people in the school in Aplao speak English? But fortunately, someone told my dad that this school, why don't you take them to Accra boarding school? And he took an interest in that. He wanted to send the boys. So I told him I would also be interested. He said,
and he obliged?
And he agreed. He obliged me. Then the Accra school said, no, these guys are going to class 7, and yet they can't speak English. So they decided to bring us back to class 3. So from Aplau class 6, instead of going to class 7, we came to JMP School, Ghana Empire Secondary School, at the Dakuma Junction.
Yeah.
We were brought back to class 3 so that we could pick up. So maths
4
was...
years.
Yes, 4 years. I lost 4 years. So maths was good at that level, but the English wasn't there. So we had to pick up from there gradually again. So it was in class 3, and then we, after a year, we were moved to Datus, Tema Datus, class 4. So I wrote my common entrance in Datus.
One thing, I mean, your father must really love you because I mean, when he was moving you from the village, he thought, look, because he didn't want you to be left out, he paid for your best friend to come with you.
Yes, Aula is in the book. Aula was my very good friend in Aplau. We were best of friends. We moved together from Lome border to Aplau every day. So when my dad saw that, taking this girl to JMP school, she was going to miss this her friend. So she went to the girl's mother and said, Madam, your daughter is my daughter's best friend, and I'm sending her to Accra. So I'm going to pay for your daughter to follow us too. So I had my friend with me so that I wouldn't miss home. So that's how myself and Aula entered JMP school.
Wow.
But unfortunately, a year after, when my daddy said, look, there's a better school, which was an international school then, she refused to follow us.
And if you want to know the reason why she refused, it's in the book chosen. I won't go there. But it's a very tragic story. But,
very tragic. Very tragic.
So you moved. So you came to Tema.
Yes, I came to Tema. Datus. If you remember, these were the early 80s. Food scarcity was in the system.
82, 83.
Yes, 82, 83. So what happened was that Datus decided to merge the boarding system. So they moved all boarders from Tema Datus to Bubiashi. Okay. So that's how we went to Bubiashi. The same Datus, but different areas.
Yeah.
So I wrote the common entrance in Bubiashi, I mean, Tema Bubiashi. Yes, please.
What amazes me is, up until this point, for you, you were just in school doing well and, you know, living every day at a time, not really wanting to be a banker or anything.
No. That's the least of my problem. That was the least of my inspiration.
You write the common entrance. You don't even know you passed. You go home. And then when you came to check the results with that, that's just wonderful.
Yeah. What happened was that when I finished primary school, after writing the exams, I wrote the exam because they said we should write common entrance. I wasn't sure which book. Nobody was there to tell me, okay, choose this secondary school or choose that. But there were 2 teachers, and I must, they are alive, and I'll use this opportunity to appreciate them.
Sure.
One of them is Mr. Ankofo. He's the financial director at Boss now. Okay. He was my mathematics teacher. Wow. So he and his friend, one Mr. Peter Yaovi, said, this girl, they could see that, I mean, I was brilliant, but there were no structures to really guide me. So they chose the 3 schools, Achimota School, in France, mine, and I think Laboni.
So they had hope for you?
Oh yeah, they had. And they put those structures there for me. So I knew they chose something, but I wasn't interested. Because remember, I was supposed to be going back after primary school. So after primary school, I was supposed to, because I told my dad, the promise was, let me finish primary school. Then I go to support my mom. So the willingness or the interest to come to secondary school wasn't there, but they chose it. So after school, we went back to home. I went back to Lome. We were doing our things, supporting the old lady. Then school resumed in September. And so Dad had to bring the boys to Tema, to Bubi Ashidatus. So I decided to follow and just see them off one way or the other. So when we landed in Bubiashi, the women, the accountants, and all the proprietor's wife were pouring powder all over my body, excited. And so the old man asked, what is the problem? They say, you don't know, your daughter did so well. She got this, she got that, 272. So he says,
the highest was 274.
274 that year.
Very high.
Yeah, it's very high. So my dad was like, you got to say, what does that mean? He said, she's going to go school. They chose. So that was when the teachers told me, we chose Achimota School for you. So how do we get to Achimota School? I wasn't ready. I had just come to see my old man off. So they said, no, but you have to go there because their short school has resumed. So how do we get there? They said, okay, you are in Bubiashi now. Go to Bubiashi station. Pick a car. There's those bone shaker. You pick the bone shaker from Bubiashi station to Kaneshi.
Get off.
From Kaneshi, you take Achimota. When you get to Achimota, you get a taxi going to Achimota School. That was the direction. So we went. So when we got to the school...
Is this for real?
For real! School had resumed. They had resumed. Achimota had resumed for 2 weeks.
But this wasn't part of the plan. This was just to drop the boys at school.
Yeah, but the noise in Datus, the man didn't have a choice.
Well, let's go and see what's happening.
Let's go and see what is happening. Because the teachers were on him that your daughter has done well. So taking me back without going to see what they are talking about, even though I didn't know what they are talking about, he too didn't, we decided to go. So when I got there, the list at the Achimota administration was up there. So I went and stood there, he too was standing, and then we were looking. And then we saw the name, it was the second on the list. So they said, hey, that's my name. But I didn't know where to go. He didn't know where to take me. Then the man came out called Mr. Duncan. Said, what are you doing here? Because he saw that we had kept long there. And I said, that's my name. He said, you are now coming? And if you remember those days, you have to, when you get the admission, it's not just getting the admission, you must have admission fee.
Yeah.
To show that you really are coming. And it's usually time-bound. Yeah. Because after that time, it means that you are not interested, so they'll take it away from you.
And this is Achimota.
This is Achimota
All
School.
The old boys and the big cronies would have been in there already.
Daughter of a mechanic or a organizer coming to...
Who
doesn't even know where Achimota is? With all the people waiting to get... So this man said, hey, you are now coming. I have paid. Because I was wondering that this girl has this and she hasn't reported. Somebody's going to take it. So he took his money.
Paid to block them.
Paid and blocked it and brought the receipt to us.
That is faith.
Without knowing me from Adams.
And
that is the essence of this book.
Time to take a quick break and come back. Well, we're talking to Mrs. Abiola Bewa. What a beautiful name. You'd like you to get a husband with a nice name to add to yours. Mrs. Abiola Bewa. And I told you that, this is one of those conversations where you need the children around. But as faith would have it, you're just going along for the ride to drop the boys at Datus. You get there, there's jubilation, and it's so ecstatic that, listen, we need to go to Achimota. We don't even know where Achimota is. We find it. And as faith would have it, Mr. Duncan had paid to block.
Yes, Mr. Duncan.
Is he alive?
No, he's not. He died whilst we were in school. He's an old man. And he's just a clerk who used to, roll papers.
The examination papers.
Examination papers.
Yeah.
He was like, what today we'll call secretary or messenger. Because he used to roll that, and when there's exam, they will carry the paper. So it wasn't a highly paid deputy headmaster. No.
This is faith.
It's faith. It's wherever he is.
So he gave you the receipt?
He gave me the receipt. He gave my dad the receipt,
so
and then Baba paid him back. Yes. He paid him back. So then, what is the next? School has resumed. You've got to go to school. So I couldn't go home with all my plans, and so I followed my dad to...
So mom's shop coming
You
to help
forget
everything.
about that one now. So I had to first, because the pressure, now remember, it wasn't based on what I want to do. It's based on the social pressure that has come, and then we found ourselves here. So old man had to just get me a suitcase and a box, what do you call the chop box. So they sent it to House 11. My uniform was given to me, and so I've started school.
Because you're 2 weeks late already.
I was 2 weeks later.
So he went outside and bought a few things.
Yes, he bought all those things and gave to me. So he has to leave you and go. He has to leave me and go, because I mean, how do you say? So he sent me to House 11. Wow. So that's how I started. I wasn't fitting into the system properly. Remember, I was 4 years older than them.
Yeah.
Do you get it now?
Yes.
And these were dada bars, and you know. These girls are speaking English with their teeth. What do you want me to do? So I wasn't fitting in properly. You know, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't fitting into the system, and I've just been brought here because somebody thinks he has chosen that one. So I wasn't settled. Far away from home. I was far away, and my what I know and what I understand, the school was too sophisticated for me. Wow. Do you get it now? Yeah. Because these were this minister, that minister, Benz here, Benz there, food Saturday, food Sunday. Nobody visited me in school. Nobody. Who is going to visit you? For what? From where? So I was just in. But God that we serve has a way. I mean, I believe in destiny. And I believe that sometimes things happen for a purpose. I happen to pick two of my mates who are friends, Lydia Bampo, Kizita Mensa. They are alive, and I celebrate them. These were my friends. They saw the raw background, and they joined forces with mine. These were children from very good home, polished background. So we put our provisions together. So I was able to eat some of their broche complaints and all those things. So my gari and my shito, they didn't mind. So we combined fully. Okay. And now I'm actually in charge of the chopos. So if you must pick anything, it has to be me. And they accepted me in that crude form. Yeah. You understand? And we've moved up to today. We are still friends. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we are still friends. So I must say that they kept me in the school. They kept me in the school because, remember, as at this point, I am still not sure what school can give me. I'm still struggling. As I finish your community, after school, they'll give you cutting, small cutting. So I wasn't really, I couldn't. After all this, you're just going to cut a piece of paper. Going to cut a piece of cutting. They'll just cut it and give to you. And right, Abiola Marufa Tijani has graduated from Ford. And so what? They don't even add money. So I wasn't too settled. But these friends of mine kept me in the school. They shared with me, go home with me. I will show you a picture where I spent holidays in some of them, their homes. Wow. But there were also people who were just my housemates, but their mothers went the extra miles. Maybe they also saw something in you. I don't know what they saw, and I don't know what their children told them. But there were mothers like Mrs. Okujeto, lawyer Okujeto's wife, who bring food for the daughter and say, "That your friend. Call her, share with her." There were Mrs. Asime, who would say, "Marufatu, come. How are you?" There were parents like that, Mrs. Bampo, who would visit my mom in the market during holidays because they were also living in Togo. Okay. Who would say, "Come and ask my mom for permission to keep me for weekend." And you see, coming, it's like day and night. Fork and knife and all those things. So I saw the difference in this, and I was beginning to aspire more. Now you've gone past Mr. Then Johnson. I've gone past, Mr. Johnson is back. So I have women like that I owe it to them. I have headmistresses, Mrs. Agomadu, who went extra miles to be my friend. They were my friend. They were my senior husband, but they were my friend. She would visit me in Togo. Mrs. Brichum, who also took extra care. Come and take my suitcases and put it. There were people who were sharing. There were few Motown girls. When they get their food, they'll bring their food together and say, "Abi, join us." Then we'll join. And so I those were people I really owe it to. You get it? So that's why I keep saying that I have looked back at my life and I said, how do I give back to society? Who else can I also just, who else was in that or is in that situation that can also just,
Pluck out.
And I believe there are ladies, there are small girls out there. And so that's why I launched the foundation, Abiola Bewa Foundation, ABF for short. So these were women that really, really, I must say that today, whatever I am today, 70%, I'll give it to them.
Let's talk about the foundation a little bit and then we continue. So you wrote the book Chosen from the Darkness, which I think you've done really well. And so everything from the book you give into the foundation.
Yes, please.
And it's mainly for girls.
Yes, please.
If I should say mainly for Abiolas out there.
Abiolas out there. Good description.
Maybe for Abiolas out there who are filled with potential, but society is giving them...
They are deprived or they find themselves in a vulnerable situation. Yes, please.
So what would a person like that do? What, write to the foundation? Or what would they find?
Apply to the foundation. We have trustees.
Okay.
Strong trustees. People, I can't just push back them. People who will help me to stay focused.
Yeah.
And everything from the book is going to go to the foundation. Every support is going to go to the foundation. We are going to, in fact, our aim is to have 100 girls in school next year.
Okay.
So the person knows that, I have passed, I've done 7 A's, I've done 10 A's, but my mother cannot afford to pay my entrance fee or cannot pay the examination fee. That's where we come in to say, okay, let's have your school, and then we help you and push you into the school. So the trustees and myself, we are believing God that we should be able to do at least 100 girls for 2019.
That's magic, huh? That's magic.
Very ambitious.
That's 100 destinies.
From all corners of Ghana. Yes.
In any age criteria or just anybody without...
Anybody from primary to entry university, not into the university. We want to say that anywhere from primary to university, because most of them are one-offs. Yeah. So, for example, we heard of a girl who has 7 A's, but needed 5,000 to go to university. So we'll give you. Enter the university. Government has a lot of support system in there. Then you take your way there. We had a girl in Tishi who needed 50 cedis. So we are paying your examination fee. Write your exam, take it out from there because SS is free.
It's like a key.
So it's a key. It's a key that we are giving so that we can give everybody. Perhaps if we grow bigger, we can even add more support than it. There's a lady we met who says anytime in her village, men says they don't go to school. That is 5 days, 6 days out of a girl child's school. That girl cannot be said to be doing well. No. So what we want to do is to say, okay, how do we support them? We've identified a kind of woman tissue that we can give them, for which we are told that they could use it for 2 years. Okay. So when that happens, you don't need to stay out of school. So I'm now going to work on bringing that and then distributing to these schools. Yeah. That, for example, will keep the girl child in school. We are also thinking that, okay, what about girls in the villages? We have NGOs like Obapa that we think that they can become life coaches for girls. In fact, I went with them to Asogli Festival and spoke to girls who have dropped out of school. And I shared my story with them. And Nana, you should see their eyes. A lot of them are willing to go back to school now. So we can also partner these kind of NGOs to reach out to the girl child. So those are the few things that I'm hoping that we can achieve.
I was going to come back to, Daddy losing the job and you struggling through Achimota. But from the point that you just raised, I know one of your beliefs in gender equality is that don't just put the woman there because she has a pair of breasts or she wears skirt, but she must be capable.
She must be.
So it leads to you saying that, look, the girl shouldn't be dropped out of school and then in the end you just pick her as a gender balance, but she has to build herself to compete. Capacity.
Yes, please.
So that when they say there's a woman, it's not because it's a woman, but capacity.
It's a qualified woman.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I believe in that. I believe in equality rather than equity. Yeah. What I hear currently from both women advocates and politicians is what we call equity. So I'm picking 10 people, I need 3 women. So even if you are half cooked, we put you there.
Put you in there.
If we continue on that road, we will always be secondary to the male child. So what I always advocate for is that let's help the girl child.
Who is very capable.
Who is more than capable, who is willing, the most important word there is willing. Let's support, let's just have our hands at their back. Push them into the system and let them also stand on their own. So that when government says, I'm looking for Minister of Finance, and they want to consider 5 people or 6 people, the 3 women in there are actually qualified. You get it now? They are not there because we needed women to just, flavor the tea. So they just push us in there. We shouldn't sing that song. And I think that is one thing which we should avoid. What we call the gender advocate. We can fine-tune the message well by saying that give us support from the ground, because it all have that ripple effect. But if we keep thinking that, oh, don't worry, keep bringing it, you can drop out of school, you can even stop school. When there's going to be a position or there's going to be an opening, we will just look for few people. I don't think we should do that. No. Recently, we were looking for females on our board. Trust me, we struggled. Males, CVs, people have improved themselves, but we struggle with the women. So the question is, we've been crying, women have been crying. We want position, we want to be seen, we want to be heard. Where is it? If we are not there. Today, I must tell you that our problem as women is no longer men. I'm a living testimony to that. It's not that there's a male, there may be few hitches here and there, but I don't think there's any male holding the gun to our heads and saying, don't move. I don't know if you get it. Government has done enough awareness, but I'm saying that we need to prepare our girl child to stand toe-to-toe with the male child.
So first, Form 2 first term, that finances are bad. So how do you manage to finish school? Because mom also can't support.
Yeah. My dad had helped me in, so first Form 1 was good. Form 2 first term, the business went into serious challenge. He lost everything, and so he told me, well, things are difficult. So it's either I dropped out or I find myself doing something. So in the course of that, I started selling.
Michael Jackson chewing gums.
Yes, Michael Jackson chewing gum. I started selling sweets.
For those who don't know Michael Jackson chewing gum, what are Michael Jackson chewing gum?
Michael Jackson chewing gum was a chewing gum that came in with Michael Jackson's pictures in pieces.
Okay, like a puzzle.
Like a puzzle. Correct. That's in fact the word. So you want to build a Michael Jackson's face. So you need to buy the various chewing gum until you build that. So people will buy the chewing gum and somebody will get an eye. Somebody will get a head, somebody will get a nose, and they were building it to show that they have a full face. If you remember, in the early 80s, Michael Jackson was everybody's. In fact, we used to copy his songs into a book. And we'll be singing it instead of reading our books. So it was a role model for everybody. So that was what I started with. Along the line, I sold so many things. I sold cigarettes, I sold everything when I get home. Wow. I also helped my mom anytime.
While you were in school?
Yes, I was in school.
And you were supporting your younger siblings?
Yes, I have to. I have to because, you remember I told you I was in the university. I was in the secondary school. Yes. I had seen the difference. My brother after me is a male. He was in, I think, Keta Secondary School. So by then, I had started supporting them, paying school fees for everybody.
So you knew they had a chance if they finished school?
Oh, yeah, I did. I didn't leave anybody behind. Nobody. The girl after that one is a PhD holder.
Wow.
Yeah. I did it.
And your brother is an engineer?
My brother is a full engineer. He's the plant manager for VRE.
I have to stop and say hello
to him. No, you will meet him. You will meet him.
I have to stop and say hello to him.
He's a full engineer with a double master's, double degree.
Wow. I'm going to take a quick break and come back and find out where that determination came from. Don't go. Well, thank you so much for staying, and I wish I had more time. Okay, so Form 2, where did you get that determination and that, weren't you too young to shoulder all that responsibility that, look, I need to look after myself and make sure these guys also don't miss out on an opportunity?
I can't explain.
Wow.
But I'm a very determined person.
I think that you're a living testimony.
Yes, I'm a very, because I can't explain why I had to bother about them. They were not my business. And nobody gave me that responsibility and say, when you wake up, look after your brothers. But I just don't know how that sense of ownership that I needed to help these ones. I don't know where I got it from. But
when did banking come in the scene?
Banking was, I think it was it was not by choice. Because I sold throughout. I sold throughout until I finished secondary school. And when I finished secondary school, my mom had lost her business too. So the money I brought from school as my capital that I was using, I had to give it to her to rejuvenate her business. So I entered the University of Lagos with nothing. And then one day I was sleeping in the university and somebody walked to the door and said, T-shirt for 70 naira. I look at it, I said, this T-shirt cannot be more than 500 sefa. You know me. So I spoke to my roommate. I said, if I bring this T-shirt for 15 naira, will you guys buy? They said, yes, we'll buy. That's how I jumped into T-shirt. Started buying. So when my mom was coming to visit me, I started loading T-shirt and jeans.
Kotoko then used to have a lot of those things.
A lot of those things. Yes. Levy and all those things. I was buying them and sending them to Lagos, distributing to the market people. From there, I was sent to villages. And my dad, knowing that there's small money in my hand, decided to bring all his kids from Lomé, come and dump them. So whilst I was in the university, I still have to cater for 6 kids staying with me in Ibadan.
Wow.
So I have to be looking after these children. But thank God, everybody has found his feet now. Everybody went to school. I can't buy you clothes, but I'll pay school fees. That one they know. I can't buy you. I may not give you, but if you say school fees, no, I'll look for it. So that's how I sold and sold. And so I knew I wasn't going to work. For what? When I knew how to double money. But as fate will have it, when I finished university, I brought boo-boos down from Nigeria to sell here. And I gave a friend's sister one. And she told me, oh, she will take it to London. In London, it's 30 pounds. And I was buying it 10 pounds equivalent. So I said, okay, if you can sell it 30 pounds, I buy it 10, I'll bring it to you, I'll give it to you at 20, you sell it 30, take 10, bring me the money. I bought everything, bought jewelry, bought anklet, bought everything, and gave it to her. When she took it, 0 came back.
Hurdles in life.
So I lost everything after university. Oof, what do I do? So I went and looked for my certificate.
The cutting.
That's it. The cutting. That's it. And then
for those who don't understand the cutting in Abiola's community, they thought that after struggling to go through school, all they were going to do is cut a piece of paper for you.
Give it to you.
They didn't even add the paper. They said, all you get is a cutting.
It's a cutting.
And they don't even add money. Just a cutting. So
why don't you start looking for the money now?
So you went to look for the cutting.
So I went to look for the cutting, clean my cutting, and then started from Nadmo. Because that was the only place that was recruiting people. You know, they were doing all these, how do you call it? Anytime there was drainage in Accra, they had a name for it. We were going to communities and saving those whose houses had been flooded. Okay. They had a word that we were using that time. So they were recruiting freshers. So I went and gave my certificate to them. And that's how I got a job. So when I got the job there, I was in the office one day and a boy came. They thought I was serious-minded because the people there, nobody was. And I liked my books. Being a graduate mathematician, I knew this wasn't for me. So there was a colleague a colleague of mine who said, oh, there is this company called Jampo & Co. that they were carrying out what they call survey on used ties, what they call a ribbon. I don't know whether you know
Yes,
ribbon
yes,
ties.
ribbon ties,
When a tie is used
bulb,
up and
they stick a new one on it.
exactly, stick one on it. So they wanted to carry some survey on the Agboglushi. I said Agboglushi, Abusokai and Tema. So if I wanted, I said, how much? He said 500,000. These old Ghana cedis. I said, okay, I'm interested. So she took me to, I went and collected my own food. Instead of stopping the money and filling it myself, I decided to carry the work, through. I did it, pepper. So when I submitted, the company called me. I said, out of all the people we gave it to, we could see that yours, you did it. You actually went to the field to fill that thing. I said, yeah, I didn't know. They said, all your friends spent the money, but you did your work. What did you read? I said, I read actuarial science. He said, what is that? I said, mathematics. He said, oh, I have a lawyer who is looking for somebody with accounting background but mathematics degree. I said, I'll read, I can do it. So from there, from 150 cedis, 150,000 then, I got a job with Ben's Angel. Nana, that night, I read accounting book. Went for the interview and I passed. Strong man. I read it.
Tomorrow morning I'll be an accountant.
I did accounting in the university, but I wasn't an accountant.
Yeah.
So I read accounting. I went for the interview and I passed. So they gave it to me. So I was doing that and I was doing the mass work because the partner wanted me to support them in their mass assignment. So I did that. So I got a lot of good money, moved from my bedroom chamber, to a flat in Regimanuel. Then we had married. When my husband came, he said, hey, Abiola Bourgeois. I remember. So that's how I got there, and then I decided to do other courses. I did stock exchange exams. From there, I moved to SAS, where I did, I traded on the stock exchange. Then from there, I moved to Carl Bank. So it wasn't like I got up and I wanted to work. No. It was one catastrophe leading to another. And there were stories along this road that it wasn't a smooth journey. No, it wasn't. In fact, I always tell people that I was fired. I've been fired at my work before.
The boss that fired you, is he alive?
He's alive now. He's my cheerleader. When he sees that something has happened, he call me, Abiola, yes, I told everybody, that's my girl. I told everybody, that lady. In fact, if you sound anyhow like me, he will employ you. He actually told the lady that you sound like a lady who once worked for me.
Come.
I will employ you. The lady said, who said that? So when he came, I said, don't mind, he fired me. So wow. It's been a journey, and I remember when I was fired in December, I think so. I was fired in December, and by March, I didn't know anybody in Carl Bank. I just walked in there. And the HR manager was in a meeting, and when I got there, they gave me a seat. They said I should drop the CV. I said, no, I want to have a one-on-one with her. So when I gave her the CV and she asked me, what did you read and everything, she said, I don't know, I like you. So I'm going to put you on 2 interviews. And the very first one, it was, I think, Treasury. So that's how Mr. Edu, Frank Edu of Carl Bank gave me opportunity.
I have 2 minutes left, so I want to find out, being the boss of the bosses, do you have to be extra strict, being that you're a woman? Do you find that you have to be extra strict? You're running 6 countries?
You don't need to. You don't need to. I think as a leader and as a woman leader, I believe... Bear in mind,
Abiola is the CEO of West Africa, United Bank of Africa.
Yes, please.
So he's looking after 6 countries.
Yes, please.
All UBAs.
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yes, please. I think as a woman leader, one of the...
The organizer's daughter.
The organizer's daughter.
Did they know that before they gave you all this?
No, they didn't know. No, they didn't know. These are stories that few people around me know.
No, but even if they know, they can't complain.
No, they cannot. It's rather make them look at me and say, okay, now we understand why you are strict. I think as a leader, your principles and values, you cannot compromise on it. And I believe that my stories so far defined who I am. You don't compromise on your values. You have sense of ownership. You take the job as your own. And I think that as people work with me, they were beginning to see that, okay, there's result. Now they are happy and they buy into it and they celebrate you. It doesn't come easily.
Is Daddy alive and are you still close?
Yes, we are still close. He left here 2 days ago. My dad is alive. He's about 82 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting to his 83. But
He must be proud.
I hope so.
He hasn't got an option. He hasn't got an option but to be proud.
I know he's happy,
Oh, good.
and I think he's proud too.
Folks, I told you that I wouldn't have enough time, but I definitely urge you to... Where can we find the book?
It currently is on Amazon, and it's also in all UBA branches.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So
Nationwide.
Nationwide. All UBA branches. It's called Chosen from the Darkness.
Yes, please.
And subtitle, From the Bleakest of Beginnings to a Celebrated Life at the Apex of the Banking Industry in West Africa. I haven't even done a quarter of it. And yet I'm sure you're inspired just as I am.
Yes,
Get yourself a book, because every penny that you get would go to some Abiola out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nana. God bless you.
Until I come back to you with a different personality, thank you so much for watching.